She doesn't even go here.
I'm bi, actually.
Excuse me. Could the ugly, untalented gays please report to the principal's office?
Hi, I'm Kurt Homo, and I'll be auditioning for the role of kicker.
Hey.
Welcome to Not So Straight Nerds. I'm your host, Alicia.
I am your other host, Luke.
Okay. And today we're talking about some other not so straight nerds in the shows of Overcompensating and Adults. The two big talking points that were, happening a couple weeks ago. I feel like people are still talking about it, just not as much.
Sure.
Because, now, like, The Bears come out, Ironheart, and Squid Game. So this week has been another huge week for shows. We're definitely going to cover Ironheart once the whole thing's out.
Yes.
We'll see.
We'll see what we have time for with everything else.
What about the other two? Anyways, I'm very excited to talk about this today.
Yes.
If you don't know, both of the shows are very, coming of age in different ways. Like, I don't know about coming of age. I don't know. It's just more like...
I would say overcompensating
lifestyle.
is like almost coming of age.
Mm-hmm.
It's similar approaches to looking at two different stages of life.
Yes. So, Overcompensating is in college, which ironically, the college kids are almost always played by, 30-year-olds
Yes.
because it's a very personal show. This is why I don't really care. And college kids I can put aside a lot more than, high schoolers. But even, Riverdale, they're high schoolers, and they're definitely not. So, I don't know. That's never really super bothered me. But in this show, it's very personal to the main actor, who's also the main character. It's his show, his story. Now I'm sure it's dramatized for the screen a little bit. Some things change here and there, I'm sure. And then his best friend, who he's had a podcast for from what I understand, a while. They've been friends for a while. She plays his sister in the show, which is very fun. So yeah, it's basically about him in Overcompensating, going through college, and he has this secret, and he hasn't come out yet. So he knows he's gay. He likes men. Well, I guess he just knows he likes men. He hasn't really totally come to terms and accepted that within himself. And he definitely has not come out with that to anybody else. But we keep getting flashbacks throughout the series of him almost kissing this one guy in high school, and he's basically just kind of trying to navigate college, acting like, someone he's not. So, I don't know. It's very interesting, but it's still very funny. It has its heavy moments for sure, but it's still very funny, and it's very millennial humor, which makes sense because of the people who are making the show and who the show's about. But it's still funny. I know people make fun of millennial humor, but sometimes it can really hit. And I think it's just more of at least from a Gen Z perspective, more just an awkward comedy, but I still laugh. It's just more almost secondhand embarrassment or cringy, but it's still funny.
Sure.
Kind of sometimes in Ginny and Georgia. We just talked about that. But I don't know. Sometimes it is cringy with Hunter. But other times I'm I'm vibing with this. I'm sure a millennial wrote this. But it's still kind of, I don't know. It still makes me laugh. So say what you want, but it was still funny. And yeah. And then Adults is kind of what it sounds like. When they're grown adults, they're out of college. They're all living together in one of the friends, his parents are on vacation for a long time, and so all of his friends are staying at their house for free. So they're just kind of navigating jobs, who they are as people, as friends, significant others. The adult life, and it's way more Gen Z humor, I would say. So yeah, but I feel like a lot of people can compare these shows, and that makes sense. But I want to stress that they can also very much stand alone.
Yes.
And shine in their own right.
I think it's almost like a Barbenheimer.
Yes, they exist so well together. Although I will say Barbenheimer was complete opposites.
Yes, it's something compared.
They I don't know.
What's the word I said earlier? They not combine, but packaged together, they're very fun.
fit together like a puzzle piece
Yeah.
almost. Like they're very quick binges too.
Yes, which is also
especially
very fun.
adults. Adults will take you, if you watch like start to finish, about 3.5 hours. So very
Right.
very short episodes and only 8 of them. So yeah, but
Yeah.
they're very good.
So we're gonna start getting into those
Mhm.
before we get too far. Vibe check.
Vibe
How are the
check.
vibes?
I feel good. It's been a while since I felt excited to film a second episode in one day. But I'm like, I'm really excited to talk today. We'll see how I feel tomorrow because we're hoping to film 2 more tomorrow. But I'm very excited. I think it helps that I've, at least for Ginny and Georgia and this one, I've been itching to talk about them.
Mhm.
So it's like it's finally here. I don't know. I'm excited. What about you?
I will say I really enjoyed these shows.
Uh-huh.
I'm interested to see how our conversations go, because
Mhm.
this is, I think, one of the first times we're covering a show that just like could be on network television but just isn't.
Yeah.
Like it's very sitcom-y.
Yes.
And so unlike a lot of the other shows we watch, it's
Mhm.
not as like event television based.
No.
So I'm very
not
curious-
like Ginny and Georgia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm very curious to see how our discussions go.
Mhm.
I think a lot of my conversations are gonna go like kind of comparing the two.
Mhm. Yeah.
And possibly why one works more for me than the other,
Mhm.
and in what aspects. But overall, I do really love these shows. So I do hope it's pressed upon you guys that even if I can't come up with as great as like conversational cues as some of these other episodes, I did really enjoy these shows.
They're just
These
so
two are some
refreshing.
of my favorite shows that we watched this year.
Yes, and I feel like I would love to rewatch them. I personally rewatched both because I watched both of them on my own because I binged them when people started talking about it, and then y'all started talking about it. It probably had been on your radar about the same time, but y'all worked during the summer. I had the summer off, so then I was like, well, I loved both, so I would love to rewatch them. So they were very fun rewatches. I would rewatch them again. So, yeah, they're just so like refreshing. It's kind of nice to have just a fun little TV show that you can dissect a little bit, but just it's not. I don't know. It's nice to have a mix of everything.
Yeah.
Especially after Squid Game and Ginny and Georgia. Oh my gosh. Well, we talked about how heavy Ginny and Georgia was. Squid Game season 3. All I'm gonna say is that it's super heavy, which makes sense. It's always been a very dark, heavy show, but yeah, it's just refreshing to have a nice little comedy, and it does it well. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
If this year wasn't so crowded, I mean, maybe it could still do some stuff at the Emmys. I don't think either one will do a lot, but it would be a fun conversation.
It would be nice, I think, if either of these shows got nominated. I don't think they're a shoo-in because I don't
No.
think they're very,
It's such a
big
competitive
shows,
year. Yeah.
but they're very enjoyable shows.
Yeah. I think like Charlie Cox is a special guest in Adults. He's there for like 2 or 3 episodes.
2 or 3,
When
yeah.
you say, definitely when we first meet him, and then the dinner one. So at least 2, if not 3. But he's fun. So if they count him as a special guest, maybe like he could get a nom in there because that was a very fun surprise. I don't know. It was just a Charlie XCX, maybe some of the music. I don't know, because like they're previously released music, but we'll see.
We shall see.
People were talking about Overcompensating way back when because that picture of Charlie XCX came out. I didn't realize that was the same show until I watched this, and I was like, oh, that's what people were talking about. They were talking about some show, and they're like, this is why she should be the White Witch, which is still crazy to me that that's what made them think about that. But
Crazy.
that was a conversation from a while ago, and it's fun to see where that was coming from. But anyways,
Absolutely.
yeah,
So,
into
before
our-
we get too deep into our conversations,
yeah,
I wanted to start us out with a lovely little game
yeah,
of this or that.
yes,
So we have overcompensating and
yeah,
adults put on trial. Essentially, we're going to go back and forth, just say some things that both shows have, and essentially we're both just going to write on our whiteboards about who we think did it better.
okay. Oh my gosh, overcompensating is such a large word.
It's almost like it's overcompensating for something. Blah, 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 blah.
Okay.
Alrighty.
I'm ready.
Okay. So.
I also did not come up with any questions.
Oh, I'm making them up as we go. So.
Okay, cool.
That's for sure.
All right.
So, actually, that's a great point. I'm gonna make a list from the top. So I'm just gonna label them O and A.
Yeah. I'm gonna put like tally marks.
I'm gonna write them out so that we can see like at the end I can like look at the list of what we have
okay, I can
in
do
each
that.
category.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So our first one I'm gonna throw out is, which show do you think makes the strongest first impression?
Okay. I need to look away because this is hard for the surprise element because I can see what side of the board you're writing on. Right. You know.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. I had overcompensating.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I'm trying to remember the first episode of Adults.
I think it was when Kyle, they find out their friend was molested and that whole thing. I think that's the first episode.
Yes, that happens in the first
second,
episode because he goes around asking all of the people he used to date.
But you might be asking, how is that the start of a comedy show? It's very talked about lightly. Don't go into it expecting a sensitive treatment of that topic. So.
Oh, and then they're also on the train.
Yes. Sir,
and then
you are experiencing a mental
was...
health crisis.
Right, I remember all of that now. That's a solid episode. But...
Oh, there's a paywall. I love that gag. I wish they did that more often.
But yeah, overcompensating, I think, makes a really strong impression.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think the whole pitch of it being like the orientation to college, and they make a lot of jokes about that, which I remember in like Meeting Your Roommate.
Yeah.
Some great stuff there that I really remember.
Are you Latinx? What does that even mean? I'm like, she's like, huh? Latinx? What's that? Yeah. So I hope that's not like a bad word. I don't think it is.
No, it's like the gender neutral of like someone Hispanic.
Okay.
Instead of Latino, Latina, Latinx.
Oh.
Is the gender neutral. Which,
well, in that case, that's...
people have normal thoughts and opinions about, and don't have, don't feel strongly either which way. That's a joke.
That's kind of crazy. Anyways, Haley, she's like makes a first impression for sure, and a lasting impression.
Ready, your turn.
Oh, okay. Which do you feel like had? Oh, this is gonna be hard. Okay. I was gonna say who has the better main character.
I don't think Adults really has a main character.
I don't think so either. It's very even. What about like just friend group then?
Best friend
I guess.
Group?
Yeah. I
Okay.
mean, this is kind of unfair, but I don't know. We could get a surprise. You just never know. Okay.
3, 2, 1. It's Adults for me.
Yeah. I mean, it helps that they have the friend group established, and Overcompensating, there's no friend group yet.
Yeah.
Because they're just getting to college. So that's why I was like, it's a little unfair, but.
I will say, I really like Benny and, what's her name? Carmen's friendship.
Yes.
Until like the very end.
Yeah.
But
the last
like,
5 minutes.
When they're in sync, I love them.
Yes.
And that's it's so good. Okay, the next one. I'm gonna say, which show do you think has the best, let's say, cast overall?
Oh.
Which one do you think has the strongest cast?
Oh. Ooh. Okay. Okay. Okay.
And I will say, I think this is pretty close for me.
Yeah, me too.
3, 2, 1. I give to Overcompensating.
Yeah. I could definitely see adults as well because I feel, again, as the friend group, they mesh together a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, that's the whole story of overcompensating is they're navigating how to trust people and make friends with people and who they are and all
But
that.
also with adults, I fear there are a couple, like, I think there are some actors, especially in the main cast, that are really good.
Yeah.
And then I believe there are a couple stragglers.
Interesting. I would be interested to see who you think that is.
But
We'll
don't
talk
worry,
about it later.
Later on when we get into it, I want to have us rank the adults cast.
Okay. Like by acting ability, not
just
character?
like as characters.
Oh, okay.
Also.
Her. Okay.
Yeah, it's your turn.
Oh. I was gonna say. Some of these are like, there's a clear winner here. Like, who has the best soundtrack? Like, let's do that.
Best
It's
soundtrack.
fine.
Okay. To be fair, I don't think one of these super
Yeah.
has one.
That's
but
why,
I'll
like,
give it
everything
to
I'm
it.
thinking of, it's, you know.
3,
okay.
2, 1. Overcompensating.
Yeah.
Woo, woo, woo.
So, I forgot the main character's name.
Benny.
I know. Well, sorry, the actor.
Yeah.
I want to say it's also Benny, but it
It's
might
like-
not.
I
Be.
think it's like the extended form of Benjamin or something.
Yeah, Benito or something.
Benito.
It might be. I don't even know. So he, in real life, is dating. As far as I know, he still is dating somebody that works for Charlie XCX. So that's how they met, and then he basically like begged her to be on the show. Like, not in like a sad way, just like, I love you, like, would you like be interested in doing the soundtrack? So, and she said yeah, she was all for it, and I think she was involved a little more than just the soundtrack. Obviously she was in the show a little bit, cameo, there's a concert she performs, but I don't know, I thought it was very fun. It was always very fun having her songs pop up, and it didn't feel like it was, you know, it didn't feel out of place. It felt like it matched the show really well, actually. It didn't feel like, oh my gosh, another Charlie XCX song. So,
I'm going to get right into it. Which show do you think is the funniest?
This one's also close to me.
Oh,
Because
it
their humors
really
are just
is.
so different. I will say, no. Okay, okay. That's my next question.
Okay.
It's also going to be a hard one.
Okay. I'm locked in.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. I want adults.
Okay.
You went, which one did you go?
Overcompensating.
Interesting.
I don't know. I liked adults first time around. I liked it better the second watch. Overcompensating, I felt really good about both times.
It's
For whatever
it's
reason.
really close. I feel like honestly I could go back and forth on it.
Yeah, me too.
But I think Overcompensating has something that I think adults doesn't have that makes it just like a little less funny because they try to do other stuff that isn't comedy.
Yeah.
And I think that works well together.
Yeah,
Which is why I think
That's
I can
fair.
confidently say I think adults is funnier.
that's fair. Okay. I was going to say, which one is the most quotable? Like, over the past couple
Ooh.
weeks, which show do you think we've been quoting from the most? Because we've definitely
We
done
have
both.
Okay.
And actually, I don't know
Oh
if
my
I have
God,
an
you
answer.
can't erase my answer.
He said that was the wrong answer. Whoever said cats were like easier to take care of than dogs have never owned cats.
Clearly.
Well, or they're just not. They're not treating them properly like they deserve. They need a lot of attention and love, and especially as kittens, they're in their little toddler naughty phase.
Why do you like this?
Because he's a kitten. Okay, don't do that. Don't do that.
It's not.
Anyways.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. I give quotable to Overcompensating.
I did adults just because
Interesting.
I really could have done either one, and I've heavily quoted both. But I felt bad that adults only has one, so I picked that one.
Interesting. What would you say is quotable from adults?
Oh, like the paywall thing. I've been talking about Miss Shotgun, or like, what is the level of your vocabulary? Something like that. When the guy says a slur and then later like is something like you're queer baiting me, and he's like, what is the level of your vocabulary? Something like that.
No, I love because honestly the one I keep doing is
Pisses me off.
That
No,
one
yeah,
is the-
Haley does a lot of the heavy lifting there. For come over
when are you
here,
gonna realize
someone
that
who
I'm the
loves you.
baddest bitch here?
Say when. Say when. I fucking love her. Say when. Anyways, but I think Paul Baker is very quotable.
Yes.
Ah! Anyways, it's chaos around here. And then I keep doing the rude girl that they bring in that wants an abortion. If I had your lives, I'd abort myself. Like, oh my god, fuck you! Like, that another
we all
Paul
wish
Baker
we were having
moment.
this abortion at Sarah Jessica Parker's house.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, waft.
There are some winners for sure.
Oh,
You stop that.
gagged. Anyways,
Next up for mine, I'm gonna say, which show do you think has the best guest stars?
ooh. Okay, so in Overcompensating, it'd be Charlie XCX.
Charlie XCX.
Maybe the Lucas guy counts. The guy he almost kissed.
Yes, I was gonna say him as well.
Yeah. Anybody else? Maybe the mom.
I would say like the parents.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, and the guy who's on TikTok, the funny guy, Caleb something. He was one of the guys that was having sex in Charlie XCX's
Yes,
room.
yes, yes.
The
yes.
guy.
Oh, I would
with the
also say
glasses.
maybe
He's really funny.
Antoine's character, like his actor from Adults.
Yeah.
He also counts.
Yeah. Okay. And then
In Adults, we have Charlie Cox. We have
That's the heavy
the
lifter there.
celebrity who comes to.
Yes, Julia Fox, I think her
Yes,
name
okay.
is. And then I'm trying to think of like people we know. Oh, also, okay, well, there's an answer here. I was gonna do like another overcompensating one. The two guys that he meets up with, the adults, or like grown adult, like the married couple that he meets. Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
I actually forgot about that one.
Yeah. So there you go.
No, actually, and there's another one, Megan Fox.
Yes.
That's great.
It's gotta go to overcompensating.
Yeah, it's
I'm sorry.
overcompensating.
Like, I mean, it's
And I originally came up with that one thinking about adults in mind with Charlie Cox and not Megan Fox, but
Julia Fox.
Julia Fox. But
Yeah.
then I was like, man, there's just so many in overcompensating.
So many.
And they hit.
So sorry, you gotta give it to them.
Okay. Your turn.
Ah, who do you feel has the better? I don't know. I was leaning towards like toxic guy. Maybe that could be the abortion girl and Grace's boyfriend
Okay.
in the show. I would say specifically who's the more like evil one, you know? Not, I mean, but
Sure.
they're the antagonists. So who do you think is the more evil specifically? I don't know if that would change my answer, but if I didn't say that, it would be a clear winner, and now I'm kind of thinking about it.
That does change things.
Because I think there's clearly a more fleshed out one,
Yeah.
but is he more evil? I don't know if either one of, like, evil's not a good word for that.
But I've picked.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
I gave this to adults.
I also gave this to
Okay.
adults.
Because I mean, I feel like when you specify badness level, she's not fleshed out to have any likable parts of her.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think I'm forgetting his name. It's the guy who it's Grace's boyfriend, but I'm forgetting his name.
Let me find his name.
The leader of the frat.
F and G.
Yeah. I don't know, but he was definitely more fleshed out. I think he was still meant to be disliked, but Peter, yes. But he's given some backstory, some reasons to maybe sympathize, like how, or maybe not sympathize, but see how he's gotten to where he's gotten and see how there's potential for character development.
Absolutely.
So, because he's still definitely not likable right now.
But I feel like the way they approach looking into his character.
Yeah.
I think they do that really well.
Because they're not trying to sit here and say, but he's not that bad because of, the
They don't
sad thing that
excuse
happened.
what he does, but
No.
it's very clear why he does what he does.
Yes.
And I applaud it for doing so.
Fascinating. Yeah, and it's also very real. Like, I hope no one watches that show and, brushes off specifically the meeting. Because I think, I've never really fraternized with frat guys because I avoided them and they avoided me. Nobody wanted anything to do with each other. They didn't know I existed and I didn't want to know they existed. So, but I feel like from what I've heard, how they are, that was an accurate representation. And when he goes to the real world or whatever, the big boy job, and cusses at them and forces their hand or whatever to hire him, and they do, that scene is just so I feel like that's how some people are in real life. Even though it seems fake and crazy, I feel
on
like
some level that is true. And
I
I
think
think
so.
that's why I
it might be exaggerated, but I think it's
I feel
true.
that's a element to the overcompensating overall is I feel like they overly expand on things that are very true. So it's you know, even as far as it goes, it feels like it's not even bounds and leaps ahead of what's what it actually looks like. But it's all very it's all very close to what reality looks like.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. So even if it's wow, that's weird, it's oh, but I bet that's kind of true. Actually. So
my next one, which show do you think has the best romances?
I was thinking about asking that one too. Okay, romances is a good way to put it because there are multiple in each show.
There are.
So you have a fake version like Benny and Carmen before they kind of, I don't even know if I would count that, but they both try.
They did.
You have
Peter and Carmen. You have Carmen
yes.
and Benny's sister.
No,
Peter.
Grace and Peter.
Grace and Peter. Yep. Grace and
Benny and that one guy.
Benny and
The actor's name I think is Lucas, but I don't remember his name.
I don't know why I'm wanting to say Ramen.
Roman?
Rish.
Rish?
No, he plays Miles. Rish is the actor's name.
Oh, okay.
His name is Miles.
I was thinking about the guy he almost kissed in high school.
That is Sammy.
But yes. Okay, Benny and Sammy and Benny and Miles. And then are there any other notable ones? I guess Benny and Antoine's character. I feel like they had.
Oh, I don't think.
I think that's more friendship, I guess.
I would think so.
I think it was more Benny knew he would be accepted, and then that guy was clocking his tea.
I would say Grace and her camo lesbian.
Yeah. Ugh, I love that she was Alice Cullen.
That was so real.
And we watched.
And she rocked that look.
Right, and we watched Twilight at the perfect time for that. Because I watched it first, and then we watched Twilight, and then we watched it again as a friend group. Mm-hmm. So that was just the perfect pipeline for that.
Absolutely.
So.
Oh my God, there was an adults cameo we missed, and that's Ray Nicholson.
Oh right. Wait.
The stabber.
Yeah, he's the stabber in Adults. What was he in this? In Overcompensating?
He wasn't, but that was just
Oh, for the cameos.
Yeah. For
Okay,
guest
well,
stars.
he was a really fun cameo.
Yeah.
So funny. They think that he ran into him, and then he's just standing there what the fuck, guys?
Crazy.
Why would you leave without me? Why did you hit my box of stuff?
So then on adult, our romances we're looking at is Samir and I think it was Carly, right?
I think so.
Then
Paul
it
Baker
was
and
Paul Baker and Issa.
Issa.
Paul Baker and Anton.
Mm-hmm.
Then there was Billy and
Charlie
Mr.
Cox's-
Teacher.
Mr.
I don't know if we
Teacher.
ever got his name.
Ooh. I think they did say his name.
At
They're
some
like,
point.
Don't call him that. Call like his name is blah blah blah.
On IMDb, he's labeled as Mr. Teacher.
That's so funny.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have my answer.
Oh, this is hard because I feel like did we name like a single relationship that was developed and healthy? Like
Among either? Not
no,
really.
that's what I'm saying. It's like, is there an answer here?
I would say like the most compelling ones.
Okay.
And I think there's one that's the most compelling among both,
Yeah.
but we like didn't see any of it yet. is my
Yeah.
thought.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. I gave it to Overcompensating.
I gave it to adults for Antoine and
I
Paul
cannot
Baker.
wait until season 2 when they're able to flesh that out.
yes.
You can see them clearly leading up to it,
yes.
which is and it's done really well.
It was fun seeing that lead up again, knowing what happens as well, because you see even more. Like, oh yeah.
But Overcompensating has a lot of really great looks at relationships, why people are attracted to other people,
It's true.
and I think
And the different types of couples too.
yeah, and like what a relationship can be.
Mhm.
I think they explore that really well here.
It's so valid.
And like just because you love someone does that mean that your relationship is good.
Yeah.
Can you have a relationship where you don't love each other?
Yeah.
There's some really interesting stuff there. So overall, I'm gonna give it to there. But
yeah, that's so valid. So.
yeah, your turn.
Okay.
I'll say let's do one more each.
Okay.
And then we'll move on.
Do I have one? Okay. Do you feel like you had a favorite binge?
Favorite binge?
Or if you don't, like, which one would you see yourself rewatching more often?
That's really hard. I think they're both like really easily bingeable.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to choose, because I think ultimately I have a favorite, so I guess I'd have to go with that one. But they're both very strong.
Yeah. This one's probably the closest. Okay.
I don't think I spelled bingeable right.
I wrote down
Beatable.
rewatchability, which I don't even think is a word. So
We're doing great. Okay, so for bingable,
Okay.
I said
Bingable.
overcompensating. Where did you put it?
I put rewatchability for overcompensating. I don't know.
You're doing so oh. Dang.
What is happening right now?
You're doing so-
Anyways, I'm
doing so
so
good.
sorry, guys. This is probably our worst episode with like focus ability. Anyways, I just love Overcompensating. I think it really is like Adults is an amazing comedy, but Overcompensating is more than just a comedy.
It's like a dramedy.
Yes.
And I love a dramedy.
And I love that, and I just love Benny and Carmen's friendship so much. Like, I cried the first time after they're fighting, and then they hug at the party.
Oh, that scene, that one hurts.
Oh my god. I'm like, stop. I'm about to like tear right now. I get it. But it's just so beautiful, and they're navigating college together, and I'm just like, I love it. Anyways, so it's like, that's why their friendship, I feel like, puts it over the top for me. And then with the romance, Paul Baker and Antoine's, I'm like, it kind of just
No,
puts
as
it over
soon
the
as that
edge
like
in its own
actually
right.
like manifests into something, that show
Yeah.
I think is gonna level up in a big way.
I think so too.
So I'm on my last one.
Okay.
So for my last one, I'm going to say which show, and I feel like we might have just given our answers, but which show do you think uses emotion the best?
Oh,
Yeah.
Overcompensating.
Yes.
We just said it, so I don't even need to write it down.
So I think, is it, yeah. So for me on my list, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 for overcompensating, and
I have 7.
3. Okay, and I have 3 for adults.
I have 4. So
Interesting. So
definitely overcompensating is the clear winner, even though I feel like I really loved both shows.
yes,
Like I wouldn't sit here and say like overcompensating is the better show like by a mile, because I don't think it is. I think it is my favorite of the two, but
But it's like I still really think I hit it on the head with adults being the funniest, because it's just a sitcom and it's supposed to be like a funny show.
Yeah.
Whereas Overcompensating is a dramedy where they have a lot of really explored. Like it's almost like this is closer to event television than adults is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then I also will just point out how crazy it is. Like, I want to know. Maybe I need to listen to their podcast. Maybe they've talked about this, but if they haven't, I need them to talk about like what was different in real life and what wasn't. Because like I remember seeing a clip where the actor for Benny was saying the super bass scene when he raps super bass to their face after they were rapping whatever other song to him was like almost exactly like it happened in real life, which I find fascinating. So I don't know. It's just kind of crazy.
Yeah. Alrighty. So from here, I think we're just going to go into our conversation on both shows. We are going to start with, which one did we put first? Overcompensating. I think we'll go ahead and get into the spoiler talk on these two shows.
Yeah. You already kind of did. Sorry. Anyways.
But I will say, I think this is a great place to point it out, but these are some great shows.
Yeah.
Adults is streaming
so
on Hulu or Disney Plus, depending on what bundle you have.
Yeah.
And Overcompensating is currently streaming on Amazon Prime Video. So definitely these are so worth a watch. I definitely would recommend you checking them out. They're high recommend.
Yeah, me too.
So
sorry, I was about
you're
to get my
good.
straw.
So with that, I think we can go into our conversation on overcompensating. So, what did you think this show was going to be like when you got into it? Well, before you got into it.
Oh my gosh, I don't even know, because I think I just saw people talking about it and clips of it, and I thought it was funny. I think I saw a lot of Haley, which is the best friend, or like roommate, best friend, whatever. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I didn't know it was gonna be as deep as it was, so that was a really nice surprise, and I think that's why we put first impression in Overcompensating. Is just it made the first episode off the bat just made you want to watch the whole thing. Yeah, it's just so strong, and I kind of just fell right into the humor. It didn't take me time with both shows, but definitely more so Overcompensating, because like I said, I did like adults better on my second watch. Overcompensating, I loved both watches, so you know, I don't know. I just fell right into the humor, and then the more I learned about the show being based off real life and the two characters that are friends in real life, and it's very fun. And I liked all the cameos and the exploration.
I think they do a lot of fun stuff with like the imagination of what's going on.
Yeah,
they do some really fun stuff.
Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of just a great show, and I can't wait to rewatch it. I'm honestly floored that neither of these shows have had a renewal announcement. Floored. I'm crazy. So interested to see, because everyone was talking about it, and so it's like, but was everyone watching it? I want to see if they make the Nielsen list.
You know, I totally forgot a really good this or that question.
Okay.
If you could only get a season 2 of one of these...
Oh, don't do this to me. It would... Oh, I hate to say this, but I also want to say Overcompensating. Because the only thing I'm, like, super looking forward to seeing in season 2 of Adults is Paul Baker and Antoine's romance, or just that kind of entire exploration. This, like, Overcompensating, there's several things I still want to see. So...
I will say, if I knew for a fact that they were gonna knock that romance out of the park, I would probably say adults.
Okay.
Just because I think that is such a strong.
That's okay. I can
pitch.
pick overcompensating. You can pick adults, and we
But
get both.
overall, I would still say overcompensating. But like, if I knew, if I could get like in writing,
that they're gonna do that, because I know people are saying slow burn. Like, I feel like this is not a situation that you slow burn. Like, they are married and kissed, so like
they
for a
did the
long
trope.
time in front of their friends. So, like, it's not gonna be a slow burn. Like, they've got to address it in some way. They don't have to necessarily get together, I guess, in season 2 if they like want to stretch that out again, but they've got to at least talk about it, figure that out. So, because I don't know,
Interesting.
I'm also gonna need more than 8 episodes, or you've got to make the episodes longer, something. Because 3.5 hours for a binge is great in the moment, and then you're like, oh, but I want more.
No, it's a great show. I could be seated for a lot longer. I actually like the episode length. I think more episodes would be a fun way to go with it.
Yeah, me too. Like, at least 13. Excuse me. At least 13, if not like twice as much for 16. So,
I don't know.
what about overcompensating? Do you feel like another 10 would be good? Because I feel like that was a really good
I
length.
feel like that was a really good length for overcompensating.
Because they had a little bit longer episodes. I think. Like 45 minutes, maybe.
Yeah. That one felt strong.
Yeah.
So, going into overcompensating, I will say I expected it to have a bit more stupid humor than I thought like adults would have had.
Okay.
And like seeing a bunch of the stuff and like seeing like the frat stuff, I like went into it and I was like, well, there's a lot of stupid humor here, but I was very surprised with how they were able to like make it feel very relatable and how they used those emotions and some great characterization.
Yeah.
It's crazy how quick I was able to attach to a lot of those main characters.
Yeah, because it's like you may not understand their specific scenario, like why they feel like they can't fit in, but most people can understand the feeling of not fitting in one way or another. And so I feel like it's a really easy way to connect to characters, but they still explore it really well, and they still have different ways to explore that. So
yeah. And then even with its characters that it introduces on like a bad note, like with Peter and with Grace, well, obviously Peter we never like necessarily sympathize with, or at least, you know, he's still in the wrong with like everything he does, but you can understand him a lot by the end of it. And then with Grace, I love Grace by the end of it, and that is not something I thought I was going to be able to say.
That's what I was telling you. I was like, just wait. Yeah. Peter, I'm very excited because I definitely don't like him, but I'm interested in his character storyline. And it's almost like I don't sympathize. I don't know. It's more so I just am rooting for him to like
have his downfall.
Yeah, hit rock bottom and then build back up in a healthier way.
Sure.
So, and I feel like he has kind of. I don't think he's hit rock bottom.
He got close to it. He thought he was.
He thought he did, but then I don't know. Like, especially him and Carmen's stuff. Obviously, that was toxic in itself because he's toxic and also they were cheating. But what they explored and what they brought out in each other, I thought was a very interesting seed that I'm sure they're going to explore later on. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, very fun. Except my girl Carmen's something by the end.
She's so silly. I think the writing for her gets really weak towards the end, but I love her character so much otherwise.
Yeah. It's so frustrating because it's like you writing, it almost feels like out of character, but if it's based on real life, did that happen in real life? And that's why you have it? Because it was just such a shock. I hated it. It's like, how did we get here? Why would you do this to Benny? And when did you even get interested in Miles?
That's a great question.
I feel like you're not.
So weird.
I feel like you just were in a bad place and it was gonna kiss whoever was in front of you. But then as a a friend of Benny's, you have to think about him first when it's Miles of all people. It's like,
yeah, if you're gonna kiss someone random, which, you know, understandable given the
whatever,
circumstance,
yeah.
but
That random person can't be Miles.
Yeah.
So, and you should have learned that, especially after Peter, how that all went down. I'm like, girl. But I'm guessing they had it happen because it happened in real life. Maybe not, but
who knows? Who knows?
I need to listen to their podcast, honestly.
That'd be very tempting.
So,
do you want to lead us through your pros?
sure. I didn't write a lot down for pros or cons, but we've already talked a lot about it. So,
Yeah.
Pros, I loved Benny and his entire exploration, his entire storyline. Like, I just loved him as a character. Oh my gosh. You just immediately connect to him. I was like, that's baby girl right there. Like, I need to protect him with everything I have. Like, I want nothing bad to happen to this man ever. Even when he does really shitty stuff, I'm like, no, he's just misunderstood. Like, he's just a little guy. Like, no, he comes around though, and he apologizes for his actions. He owns up to it. He makes a lot of bad decisions, but you know, you're in college and that's your time to figure out who you really want to be, and he does by the end. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna be interested to see what happens in season 2 when he's like he still hasn't like come out but things are definitely gonna change for him
Because he did get outed to essentially everyone important.
Yeah, so I don't know, which is crazy. So I'm just interested to see what happens with that. If he just kind of takes it and runs with it. I mean, I'm sure it's not going to be a smooth ride, but
Sure.
Carmen's definitely going to be, what is it? What is the term? In the doghouse?
In the doghouse.
For a while. And she should be, because that's so shitty. Like, you need to, girl, you need to start thinking before you say and do things. Think first, because it has gotten you in trouble multiple times in a 5-minute span.
Yes.
So you've got to think about your actions before doing something or saying something. That should not have happened.
It is crazy. I hope the writing gets... But that's the thing. Her writing has been really good throughout the season.
Yeah.
It's because even the way she goes into that whole thing with Peter, like, I can see that. I can understand that. In the finale, no.
No, because she's in a really bad place when Peter just swoops in at the right time, which he doesn't even mean to, but it just kind of happens.
Yeah, and he was being like setting that up for the wrong reasons, and he wasn't even supposed to care about that.
No.
And then he got too entangled into it as well.
I'm wondering if she's ever going to find that out. I kept waiting for her to find out.
I don't know. I feel like that's besides the point.
Yeah.
Because by the time anything actually happened, then it was a little... Like, that. Then it did come from a more authentic place from him.
Yeah. So, I don't know. But she's definitely going to be in the doghouse, and she should be...
I hope it's not a thing where she's in there the entire next season.
I hope not.
I hope they...
I need them to be friends.
Because their friendship is like what makes the show feel really special. Mm-hmm. So I really hope they can... I want them to have, 2 episodes to be mad. Episode 3, they can get back together.
I want, her to grovel. As if they're in a relationship, but I want it to be, you go all out.
She's
my
gonna
best
get that
friend,
Glee Club.
and hey, I need her to do some big gesture or
oh my god!
beg.
What if she sings super bass for him in the quad?
Yes, but yeah, I don't know. I need her to do something big, and for them to have a fight for not a fourth of the season, if that. So.
I want to ask you, what do you think, as of IMDb, the highest rated episode is?
Oh no, I have no idea what IMDb would feel about this. Oh my gosh. But it is people that vote on it.
Correct.
I feel like everyone who's watched it has loved it. 8.5. Is that too high?
8.5 is what they scored their highest episode.
I guess
It's averaged at a 7.8. overall.
Okay,
But what do
I
you think
guess
is their
the
highest rated episode?
That's what I. Well, you
Like,
just said
which
that.
episode do you think?
Oh, I don't know.
Which one do you think is your favorite episode? If you had to pick.
Oh, the one with the party, Halloween. Just like for that one scene.
Yes, that is the second highest rated one.
Good.
And I would agree. I think that one's my favorite. The highest rated one is episode 7, the one where they go home for Thanksgiving. Also very good one.
Oh, that's a close second for me.
Mm-hmm.
That could be first on certain days.
No, I would say I really like the Halloween episode because I think everyone's just kind of at their best there.
Yeah.
And then it ends on such an amazing note.
Yeah.
And then 7 is I'm pretty strong in that.
Mhm. Yeah. That's crazy. That is a really good episode. The pike pivot punch, something like that. I'm forgetting the first word, but it's something pivot punch. I loved that. Like,
that was great.
I love that they brought that up again. So
I feel like I might have jumped the gun a little bit. Did you have any other cons you wanted to list out?
I haven't even finished my pros.
Oh well,
Okay.
let's get going. Get yapping.
I loved the humor. I wanted to shout out Haley. I feel like she deserves her own little pro
She absolutely
section because she's so funny. I think honestly, besides with the comedy aspect, she makes this show. She makes that part of the show, I think.
It's crazy to have a character where every line she delivers is
It's
gold.
hilarious.
And like even the one
Quotable.
that one line that pisses me off. It felt really weird watching it the first time, but it is like the most quotable thing ever, so it's amazing to me now.
She says something like, I just got my ass eaten, tossed like a salad or something like that. And I didn't like it. It was like wet butt or something like that. She's like, I guess like 3 out of 10 because I like didn't hate it. Like I didn't die or something like that. I forgot what she said, but it's something along all of those lines. That whole entire spiel was hilarious.
She's an icon.
And the say when with the Olive Garden like thing, that was improvised. She just did that. I love that for her. That was gold.
Lord.
Oh my gosh. She's like, oh my god, you slut, in a store full of kids.
I love the show where it's on the kids and parents
like,
looking around.
This is a college town. Like, what? I forgot what she said in that. She said it's like a college town. Get over yourself or whatever. I'm in my bad girl era. Like, okay, Miss Taylor Swift. Okay. I love that.
And then her giving the campus mono.
Because she knew. She knew she was sick. And made out with everybody. That's
what
crazy.
A baddie.
She is, like, awesome. Anyways. Ruby-ass bitch.
Any other pros that we haven't mentioned yet?
I mentioned the frat guy representation and the
Yes.
businessmen. I appreciated that representation, despite the fact that I did not want to see it. But I appreciate that. I feel like it was done well, and that it's like validating. Because I'm like, yeah, you're right. I didn't want to be around these people. You're so right. So, anyways.
Another thing I really liked that I did not see coming was him going and like low-key becoming a film major.
Yeah.
I think that was very fun.
It reminded me of when I did the vampire film, and I was like, this is low-key bad, but like, I have to turn something in. And I got an A in that class. So you know what? Who cares? Who cares? So he's like, I'm sorry. You're lactose intolerant, and I made you like lay in a bathtub of milk. That's so funny. Oh my god.
Our tour. What's your favorite film? The Godfather
Part 2. And if that's not accurate, like, if you've never been in a film class, you can't speak on this because I've been in 2, and that's so accurate. It's painful. We had this guy in one of my film classes with an old guy, not the one that you went into, a different one. Where he just loved to yap. He was like, not in like this is what I thought. This was like, well, this happened in the film. This is objective, as his opinion. It was so annoying. I was like, there's always that one guy, but then. At least it wasn't an entire classroom full of those guys, like in the show. I would have been like, shit, you don't want to know my favorite movie. It's not The Godfather, even though I love both of those movies. But anyways. Moving on.
Solid. Any other pros to shout?
I don't. Do you have any?
I think its use of, like, the Megan Fox bit was really funny.
The Charlie Puth gag.
Yes, they have some great gags.
Puth? That was, yeah.
But
Totally
I think,
agree.
oh,
Megan
and
Fox
then
is
Owen,
great.
I think the character, let me make sure I have his actor, the one who's in both shows.
Oh, okay.
Owen Thiel,
Star.
who's in both shows, he
What a
plays
star.
George here. His small but powerful role. I like it a lot.
Mm-hmm. I'm interested to see that storyline show. I hope they make up too.
Oh, I'm sure they will at some point.
Because Benny did him dirty, so I understand why he's upset.
Very
Totally.
fair.
But they also, like, made my heart happy. So, I don't know.
Yeah. Now, do you want to get into your cons?
Sure. I don't have a lot, and I actually kind of mentioned both of them already, but it was the last, like, 5 minutes or so of Carmen's screen time,
Sure.
writing, whatever. I felt like it was a little bit rushed. Either that or it felt like it came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I don't know. I want better for my girl. But if it happened in real life, then, it happened in real life and tell it how it was. But I don't know. I still don't have to like it. It's still, like, crazy. So, it's bad enough when she, like, kissed the guy that he's liked the entire season. And then she goes and outs him. Not on purpose, but still. She could have been more careful with her words.
And she didn't even eat that.
No. I'm like, girl, this is one thing after another.
The way you pointed out that, like, he was like, and you just like kissing everyone's boyfriend, and she was like, something along the lines of, "Are you sure you don't just like kissing everyone else's boyfriends?" And it's like,
he doesn't. Who has he even kissed? Not Miles.
Sam,
Whose boyfriend?
no one who was taken.
No. Carmen, you've kissed people's boyfriends. Basically twice now. Kissed a boyfriend and then a crush.
Sure.
I'm like, girl, you're speaking to yourself right now. But also, you suck for that because you just outed him to his sister and potentially Miles. I don't know if Miles heard because he did kind of... Okay.
He so heard.
Okay. I didn't know because he came in a little late there, but... Oh my gosh. Anyways.
Your next note?
And then... Okay, I love Charlie XCX as a singer, as an artist. I need her to, like, not act. I'm so glad she did not get the White Witch. So glad. I'm floored that people looked at the performance from this movie and thought White Witch. What? I can't see even an ounce of that. And, like, not even just the quality of her performance, which I don't think was good. Although she kind of ate that, like, bitch, what the fuck? When Haley went on stage, she kind of ate that. But the whole yelling in the dressing room I thought was really bad. And it's not the White Witch either. So it's not even like the character was like the White Witch. I
don't see that at all anywhere in there.
I don't know how she was considered. I feel like maybe they just said that to, like, be nice. Maybe. To be like, yeah, she's considered. Anyways, we're
Greta
going with Emma Mackey. I don't know, man. Greta, you worry me, girl. You worried me with that a little bit, so.
We can
Anyways.
only wait and see.
That's kind of it, though.
That's a lot of it. I'm trying to think. It is very vulgar with some of its stuff. I think sometimes a little over the top.
Maybe.
For me, just a little bit here and there. Overall, I think the show's still very funny, and definitely the majority of it all lands.
Yeah. I do feel like it's a little, even though it is a millennial writing millennial, because I do think they throw it back, like, timeline-wise.
They throw it back.
Yeah. But sometimes it does feel like it's an older person writing about a younger person when they don't understand that generation. Even though it shouldn't be that. But sometimes it comes off like that. Like, the overly sexual, like, part sometimes is like, is this how you think college students are? But maybe they are. I wasn't like that. But maybe others are. I don't know. I didn't hang around them. So, no judgment. I just, not that vibe, I guess. Anyways. Yeah. That's it.
Is there anything you are wanting from a season 2 of this show?
I mean, I want to see where they take Peter's storyline. Obviously Benny's storyline, but then also Carmen and Miles, like everything that comes off of that branches off of that.
So, that's a great
George.
point. I think Miles is a great talking point real quick. So, they're dynamic. They're clearly building a relationship of some kind.
Mm-hmm.
And Benny definitely for a long time is thinking it's leading to something romantic.
Yeah, because he's touching all over him.
Mm-hmm. Do you think
Come on.
that they ever end up together?
No. Not like as a couple. They might even try to be a couple, but I don't think it's going to work out.
Why not?
I don't know. I just see, and maybe this is because in the back of my mind it's happened in another show or movie and I can't picture it, but it's like in my brain still. I don't know. I feel like they're going to talk about it, and I think Miles is going to come around to being like, maybe I am into guys, but I don't know. I feel like it's one of those things, it comes off as like even though it's not his first crush, it comes off as one, and I feel like a lot of tropes, it's a common trope in shows and movies to like not end up with your first crush, because it's you think you want that for the longest time, and then it finally happens, and it's like, oh, actually, maybe not. Maybe like the crush was better than the actual relationship. Do you
think we'll see someone else maybe come in?
I think so. Like that's usually what happens, is then they meet the person they're actually going to be with. Usually that happens. I'm hoping it's not a scenario where Miles is actually straight, because I really just don't think he is.
Sure.
I mean, either that or like you're just like in denial, which is fine. Like Benny was in denial.
Peter borderline is.
Yeah. I don't know, but then guys all the time apparently slap each other's butts all the time, and it's just like, I don't understand that. I wouldn't want to do that with my friends, but I don't know. Then other people are different than me, so I don't know. To me, that comes off as like you want to do that, like in a romantic way, but maybe it's not like that for some people. So I don't know.
Sure. Do you think Owen maybe goes into that? I don't think so. I would not think so.
Why do I keep forgetting who Owen is?
No, because his name isn't Owen.
George.
Owen's the actor. George.
I don't
think so.
I don't think so. But we don't know a lot about him.
But
I'm wondering, because they have a club. So maybe that's how. Maybe he starts going to the club and meets somebody.
I do want to see more of George.
Yes.
In general.
Absolutely.
Like, ooh, maybe
and then
whenever
Grace's
he's
friend
on
as well.
Maybe when he's on the rocks with Carmen, he goes and like tries to fix things up with George, and that leads into something there.
Yeah, and if he does accept coming out, maybe he soft launches by going to the club and seeing what it's like and
soft
meeting.
launching.
I don't know.
I
what
love
to
that
call
term.
it. Yeah, I would love that for him to have his own space, especially if he's mad at Carmen, trying to find his own friends, knowing, like that club exists. Maybe he tries that in that space. So, I don't know. I don't know what other space he would try to go into. So,
Fair.
we'll see. Yeah. Just excited. And then Grace's friend, she's not my favorite. like just character. I think she's kind of. I forgot what we talked about her, but I forgot what we said when we were watching the show. But her choices are weird. Like she's mad at Grace.
Her partner that she was with was very weird.
Yeah.
I feel like that's where some of that frustration came from. Because definitely, like, the first time they met, it felt...
But then there was, like, an element of... You're not being your true self. I forgot what we were talking about. But there was some frustration with her. Not only because of her significant other, but for some other reason. For, like, the reason she was talking to Grace and treating Grace.
I think that there's a weird element of, like, cool, your partner has all of her ex-girlfriends here on Halloween.
Yeah.
And you're going... And, you know, Grace shows up dressed as a character she wanted to dress up as for Halloween, and you're going to call her inauthentic in this point in space and say it's weird that she showed up when your exes... Like, your girlfriend's exes are all here.
Yeah.
Like, I can understand there being war there, but anything you say about that to her at that point is invalid and very hypocritical.
I kind of agree. I think that's what we were talking about. But I think that's
more the point of, like, you know, she's in a relationship where she's with the wrong person and is trying to deal with that.
Yeah.
And because I think I really like the glimpses of who Grace really is. Mm-hmm. I think that's a really fascinating look at her. And I really want to see us break a little bit more of that.
The karaoke scene in the Thanksgiving episode was so good. Mm-hmm. I was like, aw. That's when you, like, really love Grace. For sure. That episode.
Absolutely. All right. Do we want to switch over to adults now?
Yeah.
Alrighty. So switching on over to adults, I think I want to start real quick with that same question I asked before.
Okay.
What episode do you think IMDb thought was the best?
I kind of want to say either the last episode or the dinner episode.
Okay, let me see.
Or the hospital episode. I like all three of those a lot.
The winner is the roast chicken.
Yes! That's what I was leaning towards.
Now, another close one was the Have You Seen This Man episode.
Yeah, the stabber.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking that. There's a lot of good ones.
There is. The finale I think would have worked a lot better, but I didn't like that person that Ilsa was previously married to.
Yeah, he was kind of insufferable. I was like, ew. Yeah. Issa, why would you do that? Even for you, it's like, why would you do that?
Absolutely. I don't have any written out, but I'm gonna maybe just go through some of my pros.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, no, actually, I completely forgot. I want to, if you're still down, I would like to rank the 5 main characters on this show.
Yes. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have Paul Baker, Issa, and
Samir, Billy, Paul Baker, Issa, and Anton. Okay, so...
I'm sorry. I thought it was Antoine. Anton. Okay. Excuse me.
Okay. So starting at the bottom.
Ooh. I'm sorry.
I unfortunately speak this one with my chest.
I think I know what yours is going to be. And that's kind of valid.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. I have Samir.
Yeah, I knew you were going to fit Samir. I put Issa. I'm sorry, girl. I actually didn't like you, like, straight up. The first time I watched, you were okay the second time I watched.
That's fair.
So, there you go.
He's very weird, and I understand that's his character, but I don't know.
There's something about him. I don't know.
There's something, like, off-putting, but, like, it feels almost not intentional. It's weird.
I don't know.
It's quite weird. Nah.
Okay.
He's on my legs again.
Period.
Hi there.
Good. Get socialized. Unlike my last cat. I need to do a better job this time.
Ready? 3, 2, 1. Next I have Issa.
We switched Samir and Issa. So I have Samir in number 4.
I will say, I like her. It's funny because me and Cole were both like, this feels like one of the cast members from Smosh. Like, it feels like she could have easily played this character.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that
I
was
know who
very
you're talking
fun.
about. Mhm.
And then I think that actually makes me like her a little bit more. But she
Mhm.
feels very much on the outskirts, and she's constantly just like in the wrong in a lot of the situations,
Yeah.
which is a little unfortunate just for her character on like the term of like the scale of likability. Especially because I'm pretty confident in saying I really like these top 3.
Yeah, me too. I just feel like, especially right off the bat, the train scene, I'm like, that's just so weird. Why would you? It's so many times where Issa does something or says something, and I'm like, why would you do that? I'm
It's-
just like, okay.
It's she almost
And
gives
you know what?
that
At least I don't do that to Samir.
she
so.
kind of gives the vibes of the I want to say the Indian girl from Sex Lives of College Girls.
Like Bella.
I forget her name, but
I
the
think it's
comedy
Bella.
one.
That's so true because I love her, but also like, girl, what are you doing?
It almost feels like there's a
horrible.
trope of like
People have brought that up,
of
actually.
like the Indian girl being like the one that's weird and not understanding social cues.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like she needed something more grounded.
No, I've actually heard people talk about that, and
because I know there's a trope of like the you know the Indian girl being like the funny girl or in the weird one, which
that's what people are saying. And then they're also I've also heard people saying a lot of times they'll cast like Indian girls instead of like dark-skinned black girls. Like they just won't do it, which I will give credit to Sex Life College Girls because they do, and she's awesome. She's my favorite character of the 4. Well, at least when Leighton leaves. Leighton's probably my favorite one. I don't know.
Sure.
But how it's like the cowardly way out. I don't think that was intentional here, but I definitely can see what they're saying.
And like I still like what she's doing here. It just
Yeah.
feels
Something to point
like
out.
it feels like there's
and-
almost something missing from her character to like make this the rest of it seem almost balanced.
Yeah. I feel like she needs something that's like, that's why they're friends with her, and she's friends with them.
Maybe.
I need the little connection here. But she's their little crazy bug, so.
But I do.
It's
I
okay.
really like her in the episode where like they go on strike for the dance. I think she's really
Yes,
funny in that one.
that's so true. I do like her in that episode.
Yeah. She definitely has some gem moments.
Yeah.
Okay. 3, 2, 1 for number 3. I have Billy.
Yeah.
Billy.
I like Billy. I mean, she's definitely like the mom of the group, the most responsible one. It's not even her house, but she's definitely the most like put together. And anytime something goes wrong in the first few episodes, it's because of bad advice she gets from her friends, like at her work. And then she just spirals from there because of that, because she loses her job. And then she keeps going back to her old high school because she's bored.
I love that.
Yeah.
That was really funny.
The whole like
Her and
rules
Charlie-
of the house.
Her and Charlie Cox was really funny.
Yeah.
I thought they had a really fun dynamic in the show.
The whole like scene where she was getting her hospital bills down and then them hooking up right after that. I'm like, honestly, that's so real because he got you from having to pay $15,000 to like what, $2,000?
It was incredibly lower.
Honestly, you're so valid for that reaction, girl. Like, yes, ma'am, say thank you. Like,
Dab, 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 dab.
anyways, and then the whole like spit roast thing
Yes,
when she was
that's
in the
really funny.
hospital. I'm sorry, that might have been a little inappropriate.
Let's take
but
it
I'm
out.
sorry. No, doctor, we're gonna do it today.
I will say,
you're
Samir
gonna
ate
do
that
it
one.
right. Like that's why, like, yeah, that one episode really brings him out a little bit. Anyways.
I went ahead and wrote the top 2.
I will as well. The top 2 are like neck and neck for me.
I think there's a clear winner for me, but
Okay.
but
And
they
I
both
would
belong.
say for anyone, like, it's valid either two.
yes.
Either person.
3, 2, 1. I have Paul Baker
Yeah.
as number 1. Anton is number 2.
Me too.
I think they are such fun characters.
Yeah.
It's really great. They're both really personable.
Yes.
I think it's
Anton has a really funny storyline with the whole Saber episode, and
how he's a friend slut.
he's like, I can't break up with him. I need people to like me.
And then Paul
So
Baker
funny.
is really funny because he's just so sweet.
Mm-hmm.
And then whenever he doesn't get along with like the gun store owner,
Miss Shotgun. Oh my God.
sorry.
Sorry.
It's so funny. But
That's
yeah,
crazy.
Some
Samir,
gems here. For
Samir,
sure.
tell them I sleep with Ben. Oh no, if anything, he's homophobic. He's like, get out of my gun store. Like, oh my God. He is fluid. It's like, this is a really funny show,
Paul
guys.
Baker and Anton's friendship is pretty iconic.
Yeah.
Honestly, Paul Baker's relationship with everyone is pretty iconic.
Yes, he fits in it's almost amazing that he, he's not moved in at first because he just feels like such a part of the friend group.
He almost feels like the glue of the friend group.
It's crazy that they were hesitant to say yes because it's like he's in the friend group, babe. Like, what are you doing?
Absolutely.
Anyways.
Yeah.
So yeah, my
that's
first
great.
two kind of already addressed that. Paul Baker, love him. Loved Anton and Paul Baker's dynamic and relationship. So excited to see where that goes next season.
The humor is super great.
Mhm.
Some big bits that I really love from the season are the rat and the tracker being carried around town by the rat.
The raw chicken.
Raw chicken was a great one. The stabber bit, honestly, that entire episode, the idea that
Waft. I love the waft. Mm-hmm. But the hitting him with his car, but then not hitting him.
yes,
at all.
that was amazing. The one where he had like the text messages up on the screen.
Mm-hmm. They were like, oh my God!
Oh, whenever the stabber was in their house and Billy was trying to sleep with him, and then Issa
Yes.
and Anton are like,
Yeah.
that was so funny.
Issa, that's so funny.
I think Paul Baker and Samir, when they like
The gun
start
store
drinking with the
thing.
kids.
Yes.
I thought that was really funny. I like.
Oh my God, what do we do? We have to drink with them to make it responsible. Like, and then there's girls here and girls there, and then they're like, "Wait, this feels
is
like
bad."
this is bad. This feels like we could get a felony right now, so we need to go."
Absolutely.
Anyways.
Then there's just so many gems, so
Yeah.
many.
I agree.
But the humor, like I said, the show's really funny. I would say it's the funnier of the two because
Yeah.
it is just comedy on comedy on comedy.
It is. That's what it's supposed to be.
Love.
I also love the different personalities among the group. They're very just different people, but they mesh really well. So, I don't know. It's not like they're the same person, but you can see how they're friends.
Yeah,
So.
absolutely. I'm trying to think if I had any.
Listen, my con kind of contradicts what I just said, but hear me out.
Go for it.
Okay, so in my con, I said sometimes they don't feel like friends, even though I just said they did. Okay, I can see that they're friends, and they're very funny together. They have a great dynamic. But I want to see why they connect on a deeper level. It's like, it's hard because it is a comedy, but I feel like...
But Overcompensating does it really well.
Yeah, well, and I'm thinking of New Girl.
Sure.
New Girl does that really well as well. It's so funny, but you still have those select moments where you really see that they go all out for each other. And I mean, some people might sit here and be like, she's crazy. Like, they literally were going to marry Paul Baker to get him to stay in the country. I like that, but I want more of that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what I want to see more of.
I would say that, like, Anton and Paul Baker have, like, that moment where they, like, at
Yeah.
the bar and, like, you know, ultimately that's who he ends up marrying.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you can see the
And
lead
the
up to
glow
that.
stick. Do you remember when Paul Baker said my ideal, like, wedding or something is something and glow sticks? And then Anton had the glow stick when walking down the aisle.
Cute.
Yeah. So that makes sense. With Billy, you know, we could see the Samir and Billy. Like, that makes sense that they were childhood friends.
Mm-hmm.
You could see that deeper relationship. I want to see more of that, specifically with Issa. I want to see some people go out for her because I feel like this season was more, oh my gosh, Issa's at it again. She's doing something silly.
I will say, I liked whenever Billy was, like, trying to at first, like, calm everyone down and get on board with Issa. And then she was like, never mind, screw them, we're doing this.
Yeah.
I thought that was very sweet. And then they performed her...
He farted on me.
Gross.
Stinky.
Once again, we're talking about the cat.
Yeah. Just to clarify.
That's important to clarify,
not
Alicia.
Luke or not Paul Baker. Nobody, no human did. This stinky little guy farted on me. Oh, don't fall. Don't fall. Thank you. Anyways.
Why would the perfectionist not defrost the chicken? That's so valid.
Yeah. If
But also
somebody
it was really
else,
funny.
it was really funny, but it was kind of like, wait, but she's a perfectionist and she's really smart and responsible. Why would she, of all people, not know how to defrost a chicken? I would believe that if it was Issa, or like maybe if she told somebody to defrost it and they didn't.
That's an easy workaround.
Yes. But I feel like she would know better. But I don't know. I actually don't even know technically what ages they are. I just know they're out of college. So 23, 24, 25, whatever.
Something like that.
So, yeah, just have her forget or have somebody else be responsible to do that and not do it and forget. So, and then Issa was insufferable. Sometimes she was, and sometimes she had her
I
moments.
think another part of Issa's character problem...
I wrote this down after the first watch, not the second, so sorry.
I think another part of Issa's character problem is that I think a big part of her character in this season is being in that relationship with Paul Baker. But personally, I knew before getting into the show that there was a connection between Paul Baker and Anton. So, inherently, any moment that I saw with them, I was like, but I know something I like even more than this. It didn't, ever come out on a strong enough point for me to be like, oh, there's a good argument between the two. It's like...
Yeah. No, and I honestly, for the longest time, didn't know Paul Baker and Issa were together.
Interesting.
Because they're also comfortable around each other, and I'm sure that... I think they mentioned it, because I pay better attention when I'm watching things with friends. So I was... if I remember correctly, not on my phone as much. Or at least I caught more the second time around either way. But I tend to be on my phone a lot. I'm sorry, it's a bad habit, I know. I'm trying to break it. I'm trying to do better. When I'm by myself. So the first time I might have just missed that, but I should have been able to tell, and I feel like I didn't.
I feel...
I was a little
I fear
surprised.
they don't have a lot of chemistry.
Not romantic chemistry.
At least not on the level... Because I feel Paul Baker has chemistry with everyone to a level,
but then
and I
him
feel
and
like it
Anton,
didn't stand out any.
Yeah,
with
and
Issa.
yes, I agree. Him and Anton, it's so fun because also Anton, he talks about sleeping with people and getting with people. There's a whole episode about they're trying to get him to do that, but he's so personable. But I feel like, in some weird way, he still seems like he'd be hard to start dating. Not him, but he'd be closed off until they start dating. Weirdly, I get that vibe. Even though he's so open. On a friendship level, it's dating, it feels like it would be deeper and more work. Which is good. Definitely not a con or diss at all.
Sure.
But I just found it very fascinating that Paul Baker really kind of gets through that. Chips the ice or whatever. Mm-hmm. So, I think that's very fun. It makes them very special, stand out.
I agree. Can I think of any other cons? I think the bit of the toilet getting clogged.
Yeah, and then cutting it. I'm I could do without that. Also, who doesn't have a plunger? I will admit, in college, I had to go buy one. Yeah. But... because you don't just have one magically. You have to go buy one. Yeah. But I went and bought one. That was one of the things on my list. 1,000 things to buy for college.
I'm trying to think of other bits that didn't land for me.
You're mid-20s and don't have a plunger.
I also think Samir's thing about trying to make sure he didn't sexually
assault anyone.
Yeah, and then that weird oh well, you kind of did, but who cares? Mm-hmm. That was a really weird.
And then she goes on and laughs while she's saying, but you totally assaulted me. She says that.
I know. That's really weird.
And then they start going on a date. It's wait, what's happening here?
I don't. That one didn't super land with me.
No, me neither. I don't know.
I'm trying to think of Those are definitely the biggest ones that didn't land.
Mm. I loved
and then we talked about, like, Issa having married that other guy already.
Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah. Some of those things that lasted quite a while but didn't work, like, I don't know. That's just an unfortunate thing where it's like either you find this funny or you don't. And if you don't, you're stuck with it for a while.
Yeah.
Because that's, like, this episode's bit.
Mm-hmm. So, that is true. Anyways.
Yeah.
But I liked it. It was good.
So, is there anything specifically you would want from a season 2?
I mean, definitely more Paul Baker and Anton. Like,
Yes.
come on. More connection, deeper connection with Issa specifically, but I would take anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And then, what happens when Samir's parents come back? I'd be okay if they don't talk about that in a season 2. Maybe that'd be a little early. But I think eventually they're going to come back, and then what do you do?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. But I feel like the Paul Baker Anton thing could be like the main storyline in season 2, and then branches out of that. Like, what does Issa do now that Paul Baker, like, once he admits he's into Anton, like, what does she do with that? Does anyone like come and support her in the friend group? Is that how they show the deeper level? Do they do flashbacks? Like, I don't know. But then they're just really good at having guests on the show to add storyline. So I'm excited for whatever that looks like in season 2.
Do you think there's any kind of specific actor you think would do really great on here? Do we need a...
I think we need a Sarah Jessica Parker. For the amount of times they mentioned her in that one episode. I would be down for that.
That'd be funny. Maybe we have some overcompensating guest stars?
Honestly, yeah. They should take advantage of people loving both shows, and they should figure out how to release a season 2 around the same time again, and maybe promote together. Do like their own Barbenheimer thing. So
I also like maybe Benny could come on as like one of Anton's exes. I think that could be very funny.
Yeah, because that's the Anton is also George in the show. So yeah, I don't know, man.
I'm just excited.
I'm just there. I'm there for both shows.
I will be locked in. I hope. It is a sitcom, so I understand there being like the come and go thing of each episode. I would almost like there to be maybe a more overarching thread throughout the next season.
That's what I'm thinking Anton and Paul Baker are going to be.
But maybe if there was even something like bigger, like, oh no, the house needs to be renovated.
Eventually that big thing can be the parents coming back. But I feel like season 2 would be a bit early.
Oh, that would be fun if like they had to come back and then they had to go find a new house. That could be fun. Then you could like do a set change.
Yeah.
There's some interesting stuff you could do with that.
I don't know. I feel, or they could save that until they are done with the show.
Sure.
That could be like the send off.
How many seasons do you think you could see the show running?
I mean, as many as they want to make. It's a sitcom. You can do however much you want. So, until you run out of jokes and ideas, basically.
Until the jokes run out.
I mean, I'm talking like 5, 6, 7 seasons. If they can get renewed for that many, that's the big thing nowadays. And secondly, if they have enough ideas for that many seasons.
Sure,
but
absolutely.
more if they can, but yeah.
No.
I don't know. But I don't know. Neither show has gotten renewed for season 2 still, which is wild.
That's crazy. Can't we just see Nielsen come out for those times so we can really see what those look
actually, like a little worried that neither one has been renewed.
But there was so much stuff about both of them.
I know. Oh, but there was so much stuff about Julie and the Phantoms, and I know neither one is Netflix, but like Shadow and Bone season 2 did well.
These also can't be super expensive shows. I'd imagine overcompensating a little bit more so, but adults should not be that expensive.
No, I don't think so.
So,
and I think Overcompensating could do something fun where they get a new musical star to kind of sponsor like each season.
that'd be really fun.
That would be fun. Do a different. Who do you think could do season 2? Musical artist.
Obviously, Charlie Puth. Wait, is there another,
Yes,
is there another
actually.
Charlie you could bring in that isn't Puth, and they could continue that bit?
I don't know.
Oh, that'd be really fun.
I feel like there's like a heartthrob I'm missing. I don't know.
I feel like if they do bring one in, it has to be another one where it's like...
A Charlie.
Well, not necessarily, but like where it's like, oh, I'm...
Oh, or somebody else.
Yeah, where it's like, oh, I'm watching I'm watching George. Ted George? No, Robert George.
Right,
Like
right.
another one
Yeah.
of those bits. I think that would be
Yeah.
funny if they kept doing that.
Mm-hmm. That's so true. I'd have to think about
It'd
who that
have to
could
be very
be.
clever.
Yeah.
Like, I'm watching Justin Bieber, Timberlake.
Yes.
Found it.
Yes. Except I don't like either one of those men, but I want
Something along those lines.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
That would be really fun, and especially because Kate, the sister,
Grace.
Grace, is working for like a company
Yeah,
that like, does
that's
talent
like
now.
perfect pipeline for that.
So
Her internship, she could
Yes.
meet people.
There's some fun stuff they can do there. I really
Yeah.
hope that both shows continue to expand and kind of get bigger with each season. I feel like the second season for both of these shows would do great numbers, because then you have like the binge back into the next season.
Uh-huh.
I feel like that'll do great.
Ah! I'm so excited.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyways, it's
So
very fun.
I think that is going to be everything for us today.
Mm-hmm.
Let us know what you think about Adults and Overcompensating. You can
Yeah.
watch both of them, like we said. Overcompensating is on Prime Video. Adults is on Hulu and Disney Plus. Which one is your favorite, and what do you want to see from season 2 of these shows? Let us know in the comments below.
Yeah.
And until next time, I'm your host, Luke.
I'm your other host, Alicia.
And thank you guys so much for listening to Not So Straight Nerds.
Bye.